Alright, so the time has come to modify the Jolt. This one here is merely here because it's already has dart post removed and it has already been modified. It's had the spring stretched in a little bit. So this one's already pretty hot. So depending on what we do, we might use this because some of the stuff has already been done. These are untouched. I don't know. I kind of have a experiment that I want to try with this one. Taking the spring and putting it into this one. Possibly. If it'll work. Or I do have some other springs that we might try. But anyway, so we're going to get into these. This is just for, we might need it. But these are the ones that we're going to modify these. Potentially use parts out of this one and put them in this one just to see what we can do with a Jolt. So, I don't know what this one does chronograph speed. But this little fella right here, as I put a video out not too long ago about it, and about 48, 53, you might get a little bit lower than 40, you might get just a little bit more than 53, but pretty much 50 is where it's going to be. So, we're going to start with, let's take the Jolt apart first. So the Jolt's pretty simple. It requires a couple tools to modify it. You need a pair of pliers, you need a screwdriver. And that's pretty much it. But to get started, take these 4 bolts out, or these 4 screws right here, take them out, and then hold on to it like this once you get down to your last one. Actually, it probably doesn't hurt to hold on to it before you get there. Do this on a table. You definitely want a table. You can actually use a magnet, like a mechanic's tray if you want to. I have one, but these are the only screws that we're going to have to deal with, and this is a magnetic screwdriver, so we'll be fine. But yep, just taking them out. Go ahead and finish taking them all out, and just be careful, because you're under spring tension. I mean, it's not really prime, but there could be potential pop out of there, and you don't want to lose nothing. Not a lot to lose, but just be known. Be safe. And that's it. And then you just pull this out of here. Take your trigger and you depress it. As you can see right there, that's actually what holds it in there is the trigger group. So you just pull that out. There's your trigger. And there's the inside of the Jolt. If you look down in there, you can see the actual spring and the restrictor and the dart post and all that goodness. What you can do, if you don't want to permanently modify your Jolt, then you should stop right now, because we're going to be modifying it permanently by basically tearing that stuff out of there. So if that's not what you want to do, then don't do that. There is some things you can do the actual without tearing it up, which it is a Jolt and you can find them, so I don't know why you wouldn't want to upgrade it. But the actual piston fit, the O-ring that's on there, sometimes these O-rings are really sloppy and they're just not very good. You can get them at your hardware store, so you can actually upgrade most of your blasters. Which, as you can see, there's plenty. It fits pretty good. Now this spring, I don't think I have one that size. But a lot of times what you can do with these is you can take this spring and stretch it, and it will actually increase its performance. As you can see, I have this gap right here. So you can stretch this spring out and it will give it just a little bit more spring tension. And it'll up the FPS just a little bit. A lot of times you can not do this at all if you don't want to, and just take this stuff out of here. Just by doing that, removing the dart post and removing the restrictor, you're getting the full amount of airflow in here. Now, once this dart post has been removed, it gives you the benefit of using a half dart if you want. Then this will shoot any dart, any normal length dart, but you'll be able to shoot half length darts at nearly 100 foot a second. Maybe not that fast. I don't know if these will shoot them that fast. I think this one here, this one's been modified, and this one, I'm wanting to say this thing gets really close to 90. which for something that shoots 45, 50 foot per second, it's pretty good for nothing more than stretching the spring out. So what we're gonna do, I'm curious. I wanna get in here. So here's our Jolt parts. We're gonna put them there. This is our triad. I've never had one of these apart, so this is a new thing. We're gonna get in here. We're gonna see what's going on in here. I don't know if this piston system's gonna fit in there. I think it's too big and it's too long, and it probably won't. But I want to look. This is the whole reason I bought another one of these triads to take apart and find out. I have 2 of them already. Kind of nice little blasters. Really didn't want to tear them up, but this one here has. I've got some ideas that can be done with this thing. And I think what I'm going to do is maybe potentially take the barrels out, and maybe we'll see if we can do a barrel conversion. Yeah, it's got a whole lot more spring on it. So make sure you hold all that so it doesn't come flying apart. Let's get this out of here. See what we got. That's definitely... It's kind of nasty in there. So I thrifted this thing. It's a little bit dirty, and just cleaning this thing up would probably help its performance greatly. So piston, plungers, just I don't know. That's pretty dirty. Will that fit in there? Absolutely not. So after seeing how yucky this thing is, probably just cleaning this up would greatly help its performance massively. Now the only problem you're going to get in with the triad is it has an AR system. So if you take the ARs out, it's going to turn into like a little hand shotgun. Which, I don't know, that may not be too bad. This thing's got a massive amount of airflow. But it's really dirty. Really, really dirty. I don't know how they get so nasty like that in there. Huh. Okay, so that was just, this was a theory. I wanted to see if I could put this in here, because I thought if you could put this dude in here, which I kind of figured you couldn't, because as you can see, it's much larger. But I thought, you know what, it's worth a try. I wanted to see if it would fit, because, well, I mean, look how much more air volume you have. The spring is larger. Would it take that? You know what? I don't know. We're going to find out. We're taking the spring off of this thing. Let's see what it'll do. Hold on a minute. Does this one screw in? I don't think this one does. As you can see, the triad's got a spring. It's got a screw on it, so you can actually take it off. But this one does not. Otherwise, we would have just unscrewed the piston and put this whole piece in. Makes it a whole lot easier trying to not thread this off of here. I'll tell you what, we'll get to that in a minute. Let's just put that over there. So, back to the basics of, I've already satisfied my curiosity with that one. So what we're going to do with this one is the best thing to do here. Now this is point of no return. If you don't want to modify your Jolt permanently, then stop. But I do. I have plenty of them, and it greatly helps their performance, and it just makes them so much better. So grab your dart post and actually just twist it. You should twist out. Twist and pull it out of there. It should just snap off like that. So there's your snapped off dart post. If you want to, you can leave it like that. This will shoot half darts right now. The only problem is we have a restrictor in there. The restrictor is what's slowing down our actual speed of our dart. So we want that out of there. Sometimes if you can get enough of the dart post ripped out, you can just pull it out the front or push it out the front after you snap the post off, but there's still too much of it in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in through here like this. You got to kind of get a little mean with them. You get down in there with your pliers, and a lot of times you can grab a hold of that spring, the restrictor spring, and once you get a hold of that, you just start pulling. start pulling and you rip and tear and just get it out of there. Because you want that out. You do not want that in there. Let's see, did we get that in there? Let's try this here, see if we can push this through. And like I said, when you're doing this, you gotta be careful because you can break these. You can tear them up. Especially this one. The original Jolt is not near as stout as, say, this one because it's got that extra casing on it. So you gotta be careful. And it is a little bit harder to get that out of there. There we go. Here comes a spring. That's your restrictor spring right there. So that's junk too. Now we just gotta get the rest of it out of there. And just pull it out. There's a piece of it. There's a little bit more needs to come out of there. That didn't come all the way out. There we go. And then you just gotta kind of fish it out. Like I said, you push it through the front like I just did. Fish around in there. And she'll eventually come out. Once you get her out of there, you'll have it fully opened up. There she goes. Come out now. A little bit more needs to come out of there. If I can get it to flip up out of there. It can be a little ornery. Actually, the one piece you probably could leave in there. I'm kind of thinking maybe I did. I don't know if you can get that out of there. But you don't really want that in there. You want that out of there. So that has to come out. We want it out. It's got to come out of there. So yeah, just keep breaking it out. Like I said, just keep at it. It's a little bit ornery to deal with. You got to kind of keep messing with it, but it will come out. Just keep trying to work your magic, and if you can, try not to score the cylinder up. You don't want to do that because you want your O-ring to seat. You go to putting scores in it, it actually hurts your performance a little bit. I mean, not terribly, but it's not helping anything. It's kind of like an engine, piston in an engine. You don't want to scratch the cylinder wall, so keep that in mind. Just try to be careful. Come on. I think this is the strongest part of the Jolt, is the restrictor. We're gonna get it. Now on the big ones, if you're not careful, I don't know if this one's solid molded on here. On a big shock, in trying to knock it out of there, I actually broke the whole back out of it. And then by doing that, I didn't mean to, but honestly it's the only way you can get the restrictor out because it's too big. Then you just re-glue it with model glue. And you're good to go. Let it seat up and then it'll come out of there. I'm kind of thinking maybe with that one there, I didn't take this piece out, but I wanted this out of here because this is, you don't want anything in here that's going to restrict your airflow at all. And it won't go through the barrel, it has to come out. So we'll just keep chopping away at it. Get it out of there. There we go. Some more pieces of it. Making progress. Just about got her out. This last bit's going to be tough. I'm just going to have to keep working at it and hoping that it'll come out of there. It's going to be pretty darn tough. But what I did, you got to be really careful, because if you keep knocking through this away, I bet you this will come off of there, because that's actually how they put it in there. I might be wrong though, but I bet if you hit that hard enough, it'll break that off. And then if that does, like I said, then you just get you some model glue and then re-glue it. It's not really the end of the world by no means. And you could get away with not doing this. You can just take the restrictor spring out and pull the dart post out. But as you can see what I'm trying to do in there, get that out of there. But what that'll do is that'll completely open your air system up. So once you pull the trigger, all of this air volume will go straight through here, and then we'll push your dart out at the maximum speed that it can. To where before, this little spring here would hold the restrictor, and then it can't dump all the air. It's not possible. You know what? We might. I don't know. We'll see. We've got an idea. Okay, so we ran into some technical difficulties here. And amongst what I did is right down in here, there's a restrictor, and you can still see just a little bit of it right in there. Well, what I did is I came in through here with a drill bit. I've had this work before, and I've had it not work before. Took a drill bit, and you come down in through here, and that restrictor sits right in here. It slams shut. As you shoot, it'll slam shut. Well, I don't want it in there, because I want my full airflow to go through here and right out the barrel. So what I did is sometimes you can drill it, and it'll kind of mess it up enough where you can grab it with a pair of pliers and pull it out. And amongst doing that, I actually got it hot enough. I guess I was using a crappy bit. It got it hot enough, and it actually melted it into there. So it's actually stuck right there on this back wall. You can see right there where it got a little hot. And it did what I wanted it to do. It's stuck back there. It ain't coming. It's not going to move, and therefore it is wide open. So unfortunate that I wasn't able to get it out of there and show you, but it has done what I want it to do, being stuck. Now, I went ahead and removed the spring from these. And this one here, I've really stretched it out, so I'm not really sure how that's going to work. It's going to be a little ornery getting it back on there. But that spring was about that length when we started, so we've added this much more coil into it. And I'm here to tell you, if it doesn't break it, this thing should make some pretty impressive FPS, because you're looking at 48 to 50, maybe 52. That's right, as high as that one's ever been. So actually putting these on there, it's like any style. If you've ever messed with any plunger, it'd be the same for this one. Like this one would be a little bit harder because it's so much sprung. It's already pretty tight. There's not much room to work with. But what you do, you take your pliers, and you see that right there. You just take that and pry that piece out, and then you just got to get it up and over. So you would take this. I'm not going to bend this one for the sake of the video, because that's going to be a different mod. But anyway, you take this and just bend this. Take that piece over this, and then once you get it over that, you can sit there and twist the spring. You can literally just twist the spring off like that, and it'll come off, and then you'll be done. And then your spring will be off. Then, like I said, when I got it off there, it was probably more like this. So we've really stretched it out, and like I said, hopefully it don't break, it don't rip the screws out of it. But I've stretched one out, but not quite this far. I would like this thing to hit like 70. If we can hit that, it would be awesome with a regular dart. I don't know if it will. I mean, asking a Jolt to do anything much more than 60 is probably pushing it anyway. Although I have done it with the Nano that I have, it will push half darts at nearly 70. So I've never brass barreled one of these, so I don't know. I don't think I would do one of these. This is just not much to work with here. But anyway, so now we gotta get our spring back on. This is the complicated part. So you see, I'm gonna do it this way. So you're gonna take it like this and just start to twist it on there, and then it'll thread on if you hold your teeth just right. So I'm probably gonna have to pull that back down because that's not gonna seat very well. Like that. So now we need to get this dude back on there. So you kind of do this right here. This is kind of the same orientation you're gonna do to get it off to start with. So you need to get it turned. Get out of the way, piece. And then you got to get that dude to hook back on there. They're kind of ornery. Springs are ornery to deal with. So just be patient. If you're going to do this, you need to have some patience. If you don't have patience, I do not recommend you mess with a spring. But you've taken a blaster apart, so you probably got some patience. Anyway, you gotta get that thing to go around like that. Once it goes all the way around, now you're good. You just have to keep flipping it. Honestly, if you take your spring, once you get it on there and bend it like that, you should be able to keep threading it on like this. And it should just keep going for you. There we go. All right. Now this here, if this is outside like this, you need to get this in here because it needs to be saddled inside there like that. All right, so we got substantially more spring pressure on there. That was pretty tough to do. You can put stuff on this like Crisco or something, some sort of oil if you want to, but I mean, ew. You don't really want to make everything all yucky, but it is possible you can do stuff like that. So yeah, this is going to be way a lot more spring pressure. So when you put these babies back together, you put Jolts back together, they got a tab right here. Doesn't matter what kind it is, they pretty much all have a tab, and that's how you line it up, and it goes right there like that. You pull it forward and it'll snap down on there like that. And like I said, at this point here, you need to be really careful because your spring is really loaded. You need to be careful. And as you start, because this spring is so much tighter now than it was, you need to try to make sure you get all these screws put in before you let this go. It would probably be okay, but we've increased the spring pressure so much, and these are just a cheap screw going into cheap plastic. You don't want to risk tearing one of them out. So that's just my suggestion. That's my maintenance background coming in. That's just what I would do. I'm not saying that it matters, but that's what I think you should do. So I'm just telling you, that's what you should do. Get all those in there. Like I said, don't let off of it till you get them in there. Even though I'm sure the two will be fine. We're just going to do it this way. I'm going to tell you, that's how you got to do it. Since this is a tutorial for this. Magnetic screwdrivers are definitely a plus if you don't have one. And you're messing with this stuff, you should probably get one. And drills. Drills with small, I make a small screwdriver bits you can put on drills. Those are really nice too if you're doing a big job. So there we have it. We got it in there. Sounds like it's got some pretty nasty pop to it. We have our chronograph here. Let's see what happens. We'll run it through here. Let's see what we get. So, using a regular Elite dart. Before we were getting 48 to 50. That with an Elite dart just put us at 57. Set it in there a little bit farther, see if it makes a difference. That did not. These are Zurus. These are pretty fast generally on anything. That just stuck us at 60. That's 62. That was not good. That was like a 45. It was a cheap, crappy dart. That put us at 58. I don't know what this little turdy dart is, but we'll go ahead and try it. That was a 53. So Not too bad. I mean, we spent $0 in this. I have no money in it. I did not use any of this. So we got some half darts here. Let's see what that'll do. So that's shooting at 61. That's crazy. I don't know why it's only shooting that slow. Let's go ahead and load it down in there like that, like a muzzle loader. Seems like with half darts, when you modify them, you should, if you want your top speed, you just set them in as far as they'll go. So that could be an error, so we don't really know what that did. So I'm doing a consistent 60 no matter what, and that's with full length darts. So not terrible. Well, let's shoot a string of 4 more of these and see what happens. These are dart zone half darts. I'm gonna set them down in there, and then we'll vacuum prime it too. So it's really not much faster than an actual full length dart, which is crazy because it's half the dart. Okay, so yeah, about 60, 61. Here's a, oh, that's just a regular elite. And here's a Zuru. Let's try this dude out. So 57. I was 65 on a dart zone. 60. 61. 55 with an elite. So that's kind of weird. Not normally your waffles are always really slow. So we got us a handful to try out here. And then there's a, let's try an N-Strike. What's that gonna do for us? 55. That didn't register. Another Venture Force. 56. These are just cheap Amazon crappy darts. So it's kind of all over the place, really. But it, at its very rare minimum, is as fast as it used to be. On every shot is as fast as it at its fastest. So we're consistently breaking 50 to 55 no matter what. Oops. So that's 55 with elite, 55 to 60 with elite. Cheap Amazon, just not cutting it. I don't understand why the half darts are so slow. That's really weird, because usually you can really spice them up. It's a rifle, we don't want that. Yeah, just for comparison, this one's hopped up pretty good already. See, that one does 60, just sticking it in there, and then if you actually seat it all the way in the barrel, this one does 65 all day long. 65, 70, it's been over 70. So I don't know if we're just asking too much out of this air system. We'll go ahead and seat that and see what it does. Closest I can get to the chronograph. So 60. So I don't know. 65 is the highest I got out of this. And this isn't near as much air. I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot more air in this one. This Nano. This is a lot faster. But this is your basic Jolt. I mean, we just don't have... It's just so much smaller. There's not a whole lot of air to move through that passageway. You could probably drill that out, make it even bigger if you wanted to. I didn't want to do anything that we had to, like, severely modify. I mean, we did tear the restrictor out of it, but I didn't want to cut anything because I don't know how thin this metal or this plastic is. I don't think it's very thick. It's pretty thin, really. Jolts are pretty cheap. That's why they're just amazing, because they just don't cost much and they work. But so that's what we've done. Hopefully this helps you if you decide that you want to mess with a Jolt. Pretty simple mod. I really didn't do anything to it, so to speak. I pulled the dart post out of it. Honestly, after seeing the performance It was worth doing, but honestly, I think I would just pull the dart post out of it so that you can run any ammo type if you've got half darts and you have full darts. So that would be my recommendation if you just wanted to mod one and you didn't want to do much to it, is just pull the post out of it, because you literally just pull it out, you twist it, pull it out. They all snap out of there. This one came out really good. The Nano was a lot harder to get it out of there, but that would be my recommendation if you just want to do something different with your Jolt. And if you're not going to shoot half darts, or you don't have half darts, then there's no reason to take the post out. It doesn't seem to hinder its performance much. I was able to get 10 more foot a second, 15 tops. So that's not bad. I mean, I didn't do anything. I took you through what we did. We took the post out of it. We did what we could with the restrictor. Like I said, you can drill that restrictor and it'll break enough where you can pull it out of there. This time it didn't, so it is what it is. But it's permanently stuck back there, so it's working the way I want it to. And the springs, a lot of times with your springs, this is an upgrade that I like to do to every blaster. I will just stretch the spring. I've changed springs. You can go to a hardware store and get springs. I don't like buying expensive stuff for blasters to make them do something special and fantastic. So I like to do what I can do. That's the whole point of modding things, is to do what you can do with what you got. So anyway, I don't know. Like I said, just normal Jolt, unmodified. This one does, like I said, 45 to about 53 tops is what that's gonna do. And that's, we'll just put one in there. What do I do? So there, I got a 53 out of the regular one. This was doing pretty consistent 55 to 60 with a maximum speed of 65. So there you have it. There's the Jolt. Little mod guide on it. Things you can do to it. What you need to use. Nothing really to it. Kind of cool, but this works for anything. So this is a Nano. This is a reskin. But anything like this that has the 4 screws in it that you just seen, you can do what we did here. But like, as you can see, this has got, the Nano has a much larger air system. So this one here does 65, 70 plus. So this works for any Jolt style. So you take that and see what you can do with it. And like I said, hopefully you make some pretty cool stuff, pretty cool mods. Like I said, I mean, yeah, it's not a lot, but 10 foot a second, it's kind of a lot when you didn't do anything to it. you have no money. I have no money in that. So that's what I try to do. I try to bring you mods that don't cost nothing, because I don't like to spend any money on modding. All right, well, hopefully that helps somebody. Hopefully you can make cool stuff. Thanks.